Actually, speaking of Eric Boulier, next team is Lotus, who were not running at Jerez, so this will be a short discussion. Obviously, though, they've got a unique car look with their twin tusk front nose look. What do you guys think about that?
Interesting, that's for sure. I initially thought, how could that be legal? But then, of course, we discovered that one tusk was longer than the other. So one acts as the nose, and the other one is pretty much just an aerodynamic fairing. But yeah, it's. I mean, they're the only team to have done it, and I know at least Caterham, I heard, were looking into it, and I presume pretty much all the other teams will be looking into all the noses. But it's an interesting concept, and again, it's good to see some diversity between the F1 teams.
And they did pretty good, like in terms of development with Nick Chester as their new technical director. So I think they'll probably be surprising a lot of people, although they've been losing a lot of like personnel other than their big names, as well as Kimi, of course.
James Allison, I think, being one of the biggest ones.
Yeah.
To Ferrari, of course.
But they did pretty well with development, with the longer wheelbase chassis as well. That performed pretty well, at least for Romain Grosjean. So I think they'll be surprising a lot of people.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
It's probably going to be one driver, though, doing the surprising.
I don't know about that. I think they've got more room to disappoint this year. After such a strong year last year, everyone will be expecting them to be right up there getting podiums. And if they're not, everyone will be like, well, that's not good. You know, even if they're, unless they're winning every race, even if they're winning races, much like last season, everyone will be like, well, that's kind of expected. So yeah, I think they've got more scope to disappoint than they have surprised this year, at least, because they're solid last year. But of course, signing Pastor Maldonado as well, very much a pay driver, and I think he's a solid driver, but he's definitely there for the money. I don't think Maldonado would even be in F1 if it wasn't for his money. Most people agree.
Not multiple years. I mean, he's good enough to get a year. He's good enough to get a year.
I mean, now he wouldn't be in F1 now after his pass.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, maybe after his race win in 2012, that would have been enough to get him signed one more year. But anything besides that, it's clearly just because of the money. What kind of gets me is that is there no one else from Venezuela that they can put into a car for $30 million a year? It's a big country. There's got to be someone in that country that's better than Pastor Maldonado.
Yeah, he's pretty average, but we're bringing 30 million a year. I think he'll be in F1 for a long time, like I said, until there's a better Venezuelan. Because I know he said he doesn't want to be in the smaller teams, but I'm sure if it really came down to it, he took a year out, he would probably come back, much like Kamui Kobayashi has, in someone like Caterham, and obviously probably double their finances.
Right, yeah, exactly.
But, let's give him a chance this year. Let's kind of start from fresh, because obviously Romain Grosjean, everyone pretty much was writing him off after that year where he got the race ban, and was it 2012? And then, of course, last year,
yeah. Big change.
Very, very highly rate him now, and I think a lot of people do really rate him.
Yeah.
And that worked out. I think that was definitely Eric Boulier's final decision. Eric Boulier's doing. Obviously, losing him is going to hurt, but I think they could do the same for Maldonado. And hopefully you can find the meme and put it up on the video, Miko. But there was the meme as well that said about Eric Boulier leaving. He was like, "Yeah, we're going to sign Pastor Maldonado," and then just a smile, and then he's like, "Bye guys," and he just leaves him with Grosjean and Maldonado.
Have fun with these drivers.
Yeah, I love that. He just kind of, because the way he quit as well, he's not been fired, so it could have been intentional. Of course it wasn't, but it's quite a funny point. Yeah, I quite like that meme. Probably my favourite preseason meme so far.
I think 2014 is going to be really an interesting year for Romain Grosjean. Obviously, he stepped up and kind of took control of the Lotus team at the end of 2013. But he and I think that was around like Korea time, something like that, was when he really started outperforming Kimi. But that late into the season, you can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm curious how he's going to handle being a team leader, for a whole year of 20 races.
I think he'll love it, because towards the end of last year he was moaning a lot, like in Korea, for example, when saying let me pass Kimi and that sort of thing, and I think it affects him a lot when he's not a team leader, particularly when he feels like he's good enough to be, particularly obviously when Kimi was announced he was leaving. So I think it'll actually do him favours being team leader. I think that it will spur him on and he'll be even stronger. But you're right, this year is not make or break, but this year will prove whether or not Grosjean is as good as he was, as we thought he was from last year. If he does that this season, then he is absolutely a top flight driver, probably up there with Rosberg, I would say. And of course, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I now rate Rosberg heavily. Now he's been up against Hamilton and performed well. So probably top 5 or 6 drivers in F1, which is obviously saying something. So impressive stuff, and hopefully he can do just good this year.
Yeah, I think Maldonado's gonna be really frustrated because he's used to being the
faster
number one in and let's be fair, when he gets frustrated, he does not perform well.
No,
it's entertaining at least for us.
I think they're gonna clash Pastor and Roman if they're gonna be close on track.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Just look at Maldonado's comments from last year saying about how Williams
sabotaged.
What's the word? That's it. Sabotaged his car in America. So I think you've absolutely hit the nail on the head there, Miko, with what you just said about Maldonado.
Unfortunately for Roman, I think Pastor is just fast enough to be annoying for him.
I agree.
At some point during the God knows how many laps of racing that it's going to happen this year, they are definitely going to inhabit the same space on the track at some point, and I don't think it's going to end well. So it should be interesting to see. I kind of have this hope in the back of my mind that Pastor Maldonado will realize that he's moving to a different team. I'm hoping his attitude will change. I mean, he's said in the past before, I will not change my driving style. I'm an aggressive driver. That's how I drive. That's fine. But I'm hoping his kind of mentality going into races and all this sort of thing, I'm hoping that will change slightly. Because he's moving from a team that got 5 points last year to a team that got 5+ podiums last year. So I'm hoping just knowing that will even make the slightest change in his attitude. Not his driving style, but at least maybe his attitude at least.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it'd be good to see him this year, but I don't think this is a pairing that can last. Unless Maldonado does calm right down, which, like you said, I don't really see happening. Yeah. I don't know how long the contracts are, but I can see this pairing lasting much. Lotus would love it to last beyond 1 year because they get loads of money from Maldonado, and then a strong performance from Grosjean is what we envisage. That's not right, you know what I mean?
Envision
happening. This year. But I just don't like you said. I think they're going to clash. I just don't see it being able to work, and I don't really understand how Maldonado still thinks he absolutely deserves drives on pure merit.
I don't know.
It's like. I mean, obviously, a driver can never be like, I'm not very good. I'm whatever.
Right.
But he seems to properly believe that he's there purely on merit. Yep. And it's like, no, it's just not. You wouldn't be in F1
sort of
if you didn't have the money.
World.
Yeah, it's like he's the only one that thinks that he's there on pure merit. And it's like, all right, okay, so get rid of the sponsorship then and see what happens. Yeah. Find yourself on your ass at home. Brilliant.
It's already a little strange for me seeing the Lotus with the PDVSA sponsorship. I'm not sure. It's going to take me a while to get used to that.
Yeah, Genie actually sold 10% of their Lotus shares to some Russian investor, I think.
Oh right, yeah. I remember seeing that interview. Yeah, and the Russian investors were saying they're actually pretty passionate about the sport and stuff like that. So, I mean, they might not have the best driver lineup that they've had for a while, but hopefully their finances are at least secure for 2014.
Man, this video is almost twice as long already than we intended it to be.
Yeah,
we've still got the 3 big teams to go.
We probably already cut it in half at this point.
Or team by team.
Right, yeah. Well. Heck, just turn it into 11 videos.
Make all the YouTube money.
Next one is...
Cutting.
Got that too.